My name is Adam Simpson, and I played 10.5 years of jazz trumpet, and now I am a freestyle MC.
My name is Makeda, and I play violin.
My name is Noah, and I play guitar, a bit of piano, but mostly guitar.
My name is Jobel, and I sing and play piano.
My name is Danny Proctor. I'm a piano player. I'm a Filene scholar here at Skidmore.
I'm Tabang, aka T-Bang, last name Apatwani. I play the bass and the guitar and a little bit of piano here and there.
Music is, in its simplest form, music is emotion, because what are notes put together in a particular order, what are sounds, what are noises, if there's no intention behind them, feeling, or emotion.
I mean, I feel like it's probably the purest form of expression. I mean, that could mean anything from I have a lot of pent-up emotion that I need to get out, so I'm going to just play and get it out, or I have a lot of bills I need to pay and I really need to get a gig so I can get this money. Every culture, just about every culture, has some sort of music, and it means something slightly different for everybody, but at the same time there's still that core like emotional just purge, I guess, that really makes it a universal thing. You know, we have different scales, different melodies, different histories that define current melodies and, you know, stuff like that. But, you know, you pick up an instrument with somebody who doesn't speak your language, but you can find a way to make music together.
Music to me is, I feel, one of the most purest forms of expression, and one of the most powerful forms of art. Music can move you to laugh, music can move you to cry. So if you're in a bad place, you have to be careful, because if you listen to the wrong song, that can really push you over the edge. You know, just one of the most pure forms of art that really speaks to human emotion.
For me, music is like a language in which I share my emotions, feelings, and experiences, and all that I go through with the rest of the world. Because with language, there may be barriers in terms of maybe grammar. There are so many things that are into language, syntax and all that. But I feel like with music, it doesn't matter where anybody is from. It's just a language in which everybody just connects with, everybody just gets to share that intimacy.
What inspires me to make or play music? I guess other musicians who are like super good, I don't know, competition, whatever, but when I hear like people like making super cool music, I'm like, I want to make super cool music too.
I go through phases, different things inspire me at different times, but right now, what inspires me most is listening to other musicians. So, listening to music just on my computer or listening to live music. That inspires me most. I can't really say that I necessarily go for walks through like mystical looking woods and I feel like, ooh, I'm inspired to like play something. That doesn't really happen to me. And that might be because I'm not a composer, I'm not a songwriter, so I don't like look at nature and think, oh, this could be a nice like arpeggio, I don't know. So like what inspires me is just listening to other musicians, because I'm a player, I'm a performer, so like jamming, I love jamming. That'll inspire me to practice more.
I think I was in a way destined to always do something with music. My parents told me that when I was just a baby, when I was adopted, so when they came to get me, they were staying at a hotel in Colombia. I was born in Colombia, and there was music going on, and as a baby, as an infant, before probably like 2 months, 3 months old, The music had a very soothing effect on me, and I was nodding my head to it, even at that young age. When I first started music, it wasn't necessarily a conscious decision to really play music. I remember the first day of sort of electives, as we called them. I was right outside of the choir room. I was about to go in, and Mr. Adam Bernstein, who was my jazz director up until about, I think, sophomore year of high school, he saw me, he hijacked me, handed me a trumpet, and said, "This is what you're playing." Yeah, as I got older, I began to use music more as almost therapy. And that's part of the reason why I started getting into hip hop and lyrics, because it was just as easier to sort of, like, you know, through the hard times, through the good times, to pour whatever it is that I'm feeling into music, and I would do that through the horn, and now I sort of do that through my writing as well. And I just love performing, you know, it really, there's something about it, there's no other drug like it.
Well, I started playing piano when I was 5. That wasn't really my choice. When I really started to like playing piano, I was like 12. The Jonas Brothers came into my life, and then I realized I could play the Jonas Brothers on piano, and that was a game changer. I've always been singing. There are like these really embarrassing like tapes, way back when tapes were a thing, of me like singing like Disney songs. Like that's like my darkest secrets coming out right now.
Well, I started when I was 6. And I grew up in a musical family. My mom's side, there are a lot of singers and a lot of instrumentalists. And then on my dad's side, not necessarily a lot of musicians, but he's the one that introduced me to a lot of what I still listen to: Earth, Wind and Fire, Funkadelic, Marvin Gaye. And he was always playing records when we were kids. My sisters and I were just kids, and music would always be playing, and we'd always be having dance parties. So music has always been around me, and it's always been in my family forever. So playing music wasn't really something that I started necessarily, it just kind of happened, I guess.
I grew up listening to music. My parents were big into playing their mixtapes from the 80s and everything like that. And I mean, the first concert I ever went to was Earth, Wind and Fire, and that was when I was like 4 years old. So, you know, music has always been at least some part of my life, but my parents made me take piano lessons before I learned drums, because they wanted me to know how to read music and know the basics. And then I hated my piano teacher, so I quit after a couple years. And then in middle school, I started playing guitar, and kind of went from there. There was a girl, as usual. And then I ended up not caring about the girl and just stuck with guitar.
Well, so my parents got a piano when I was 9 years old and set it up in the living room. And I kind of took to it immediately because I was a very curious kid and I had a very active imagination. Now, with piano, I mean, it's one of those amazing things where it's like you sit down, and when you're just exploring it for the first time and you're that young, every single sound you make is like the greatest thing on the planet.
So I grew up in a very musical family, and every year we usually have family gatherings. So when we have family gatherings, everybody would sing, and a lot of them would sing a cappella. So being the only child, I grew up most of my life being the only child. So when everybody was just all harmonizing and all of that, I couldn't find a place to fit in. So I tended to go into instruments, making sounds and beats and all of that. So that's how the love for instruments and music in general grew.
She wore a tight thing, and I was liking the way her lighting struck me like lightning. Thinking of wifing, fighting emotion, the notion is frightening. Death grip is tightening around your neck. You better hit the deck or catch wreck, cause that'll be what you get. And don't forget that you will make a sweat.
Before I wanted to be like a doctor. That's dumb of me. Why would I ever want to do that? But then I realized in high school, I didn't, like, I just wanted to do something with music for the rest of my life. So I guess it sort of changed like my like career path, I guess, and what I wanted to do and who I wanted to be and stuff I wanted to pursue.
I feel like it's helped to make me a lot smarter as to one thing. And it's helped me connect with other people. I used to be a lot more introverted and a lot more self-conscious than I am now. There's a lot of risk-taking that's involved. I think that sort of process has helped me develop more confidence in myself at a personal level and at a musical level.
I think it's changed me for the better, for sure. But I think it's really aided in, I'd say, definitely my philosophies and just the way I go about life, I guess. Definitely listening to music has helped a lot through a lot of hard times, whether it's having to deal with the first instance of racial profiling, and trying to sort of navigate who I am and how am I perceived by society and by my community. And music has definitely helped me get through those in a more productive way, other than other possible routes that could have been taken. Times of maybe breaking up with a girlfriend, and that sort of loneliness. Music has definitely, like I said, been really a therapeutic way of dealing with emotion and dealing with whatever's going on, and channeling it in a productive, definitely a lot more productive way than other possible routes that I could have taken. So I'd say it definitely changed me for the better, and it is still changing me, and helps create sort of who I am, and the stances I take on life and the philosophies that I have. It definitely helps with that, yeah.
Could it be? C'est fini. If I was president, I'm sure it would be evident. I'm an American citizen, you're a resident of Brooklyn, every resident. But we are simply criminals with no intelligence, a lack of etiquette. It's so prevalent, and I believe it's such a goddamn detriment to our society and culture with a temperament of overrich. People just seem to be irrelevant. Prejudice is a pestilence and it's prevalent, like an elephant in the room, no one's addressing it. Testament after testament against the regimen, and they will say this development is indefinite. And when the boy is intelligent and so well equipped.